Hey everyone, it's John Corella, one of the co-creators and executive producer of Dance Moms. I want to first thank everyone for listening, downloading, sharing, all of it. I really appreciate it. And in this episode, we're going to talk about the why of the podcast. Why this podcast? Why me? And what I hope comes out of this podcast. I switched it up a little bit and I had someone that I know who is a really good, lovely person, Ava, from Ava on the Spot Interviews. She is a lover of Dance Moms as well too, and dance. And I let her ask me some questions. So thanks again and enjoy your podcast. I am here with myself because this is an episode about myself, sort of, about the podcast. But I'm also here with Ava, who's also known as Ava on the Spot. Hi, Ava.
Hi, John. How are you?
I'm good. And I'm so grateful that you are going to ask me these questions about the podcast. And I thought of you, and you're so lovely, and you're a fan of Dance Moms, and you're a good person, and you're incredible at your interviews. Who have you interviewed? You've interviewed everybody, I feel like. Taylor Swift, right?
I wish. Maybe you're manifesting something. I wish. I mean, she's definitely on the top of my list to interview. So I might have accidentally said to you one time I interviewed her thinking I did. But in that kind of teen realm music, I've interviewed Cole and Dylan Sprouse. I've interviewed Lance Bass, AJ McLean, NSYNC Backstreet Boys. I hope your viewers will know who they are, because otherwise I really just aged myself.
And Selena Gomez.
No?
Oh, why do I think you... Maybe, I don't know why. I feel like okay.
No, well, I wish you're saying...
You definitely have interviewed Maddie Ziegler, Mackenzie Ziegler.
Yes. Maddie, yes. I've interviewed Chloe, Kendall, Nia, Peyton. I've interviewed
there you
Peyton.
Go. Wow, old school.
Yes, like I've interviewed, I think, a good amount of the OGs except for Brooke and Paige. Yeah, I think they're the only two I haven't interviewed or really spoken to.
Well, now I am going to hand over the conversation to you.
Hey.
And I am here as Dance Dad, John Corella.
Well, I love that we're switching it up, and I would love to start with something that you ask your guests. So, how are you feeling? What color are you? Where is this color in your body, and what is it telling you?
I'm feeling relieved after today. What color is it? It's kind of really red.
Ooh, spicy.
I know, like fire red. I feel it in my throat. And it's saying, "Thank you, Jesus. That podcast was saved."
Yes. Oh my gosh. For those, listening, we're having some technical difficulties, which I feel like I always have. My laptop wasn't even really cooperating, but I'm glad that, the podcast before mine was figured out and that we are here now.
Yes. And messy. That's the thing. Like, I really want this podcast to be authentic. Some people say messy, but authentic. That happens in our lives, even though we act like things aren't like, oh yeah, I just look like this and I walk into school, or I look like this and I go into work. We all have little hiccups and messes before we step onto the mic.
Of course, we just don't. Most people normally don't talk about them, but you and I will talk about them. I can't even tell you. Maybe, you know what? We'll have to do like a sit down at your place with wine, and I will tell you all the technical difficulties I've had. I think it'll probably make you feel a lot better. But getting into, Dance Dad with John Corella, the podcast, give us just like an elevator pitch of the overall, program.
The main reason why I'm doing this is, one, I've been in the dance community I've been dancing since I was 10. and that might even be competitively. And I just wanted to share all these conversations of these that I was already having with people, with Frank Gatson, with Christy, with Holly, with dance moms, with people in the business, with Rocky, who directed 1946, the movie. You know, I just felt I wanted to share these conversations, and that will heal people.
It does.
That are messy sometimes, that bring up a lot of emotions in people. And I recently heard that actually happened with someone after listening to the Christy episode. They kind of had to like stop it and take a moment because she had said something that was pretty moving about when Chloe came out. And so that made me feel really good, because that's what the podcast, I hope it does, is that it makes people feel things and heal.
I couldn't agree more. And I've, listened to the two that are currently out for everyone, on anywhere you find podcasts, as well as Patreon, and between Christie's and then the one you did with Lennon and Gina. I think, it goes to show, again, I'm a huge fan of Dance Moms. I follow the cast. And the fact that you were still able to talk about things that I didn't know is very impressive. I mean, I always say, like, I feel like, I follow them. I know what they're up to. But you were able to pull out some very authentic conversations that are not always easy to have. And, it's a testament to you that you make people feel safe to be vulnerable in front of. And that's not always an easy task. And what's interesting is, prior to us kind of, sitting down here, we talked a good amount about, or we have talked a good amount about, like, who I interview. You've watched other interviews with, the Dance Moms with dancers. So what inspired you to be like, no, I want to be the host this time?
What inspired me? I mean, I have I'm spiritual. I believe in, like I said, I love me some Jesus, like I told Christy, and I follow my spirit, my Holy Spirit. And it just kind of happened. It wasn't this contrived goal. It was like, that's the thing. That's how it's similar to Dance Moms or anything that I've created that I love. I can't even like give you this step by step, because I just like thought of it. And then I was like, oh, well, that would be fun. And then, well, maybe I'll make the logo.
Yes.
And maybe who could be and then as I started sinking into it more and more, it started feeling more and more meaningful. And then I almost didn't do it.
What?
And I was like, maybe I shouldn't do it. Like we doubt ourselves and whatever. Maybe this is my ego and we have to check our ego in anything we do. So I don't have the book, but maybe I'll show it. I wish I did, but I'll bring it on another time on Patreon. But I bought this book recently. My mom, she's a survivor of kidney cancer, and she had a stroke. So I was starting to I felt fine through all of it. And then I came back to LA and started feeling depressed. And I was like, what? My mom's fine. She's alive. She's good. What's going on? And so I bought this book by Richard Rohr, and it was about suffering. And I was like reading it, and then I put it off. And then I think I even was like, should I do this? Like, God, give me a sign. Or I do that a lot. And I looked over at the book, and the cover of the book was the same jump I'm doing in the logo.
What?
The exact same jump. It was the artwork on this book on suffering. And not even, it was a jump just like that in the logo. And I got my answer, and I knew that I'm supposed to have these meaningful fun. I just got off of a really fun, it feels scary sometimes, but that was what inspired me.
I love that. Thank you for such a, beautiful, vulnerable, honest answer. I think a lot of times when we're asked what inspires us to do something, we almost, well, I don't want to speak for everyone, but I almost feel the pressure like, oh, because I want to inspire other people, or, oh, because I want to follow my dreams, which of course, but what does that mean? How are you inspiring other people? And I think that brings me to my next kind of conversation that I'd love to have. You've had, a good amount of guests so far. And I just want to say, everyone, who John has coming up, you're going to flip. Like, I got a little sneak peek. I am so excited. But every conversation addresses some misconceptions about the dance world and about dance. Is there a specific misconception about dance that you want to maybe further dive into in a future episode?
Ooh, in a future episode. You are so good at interviewing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to dive into racism in the dance competition world. That's something that I am the guest. I can't wait to have them on and they talk about that and facilitate that. Some misconceptions would be that dancers just dance, that we only dance. I mean, that's what I loved about Dance Moms. And even, I mean, look at Maddie now, look at Nia now. They were given those opportunities because of the show. And I do wish they danced a little more because they're all so good at it. But misconception is that dancers just dance. But we also act, create TV shows, become singers, become therapists, all these, and to help people that dance to open their mind that they aren't just dancers.
Very, very true. And I've seen it obviously on the show with the girls auditioning for various music videos. I remember Christy and Chloe had a long conversation about potentially doing homeschool, and Christy had decided against it after talking to Chloe because Chloe really wanted to have education outside of dance education as part of her future. We see it with Nia at UCLA. We see it again with Chloe staying in the dance world, but starting her own competition. So I agree. And I think it goes back to that idea you've discussed. I think it was on Lennon and Gina's, or it might have been on Christie's, but you are someone who dances rather than you are a dancer. And that sounds like, it might sound like, well, that's the same thing. But honestly, I need you to know, I consciously was like, I'm someone that interviews people. I wrapped my entire identity up into being an interviewer for a long time, and it put me in a place that I put my worth in it. And I had to not snap out of it, but I had to pull myself out of it. And sometimes it's a simple shift in language. So not to make it about me, but I did want to, I guess, tell you the impact, one of many impacts the show has already had on me. So thank you.
No. And I love that. Yeah. It's a very, that's a really good lesson. So that's why I don't have, of course I've already had people that were on Dance Moms, of course, but I'll have people that, I'm looking forward to having someone. I actually known her for a while, and she was in a girls singing group, and she was a dancer, and now she acts. And I'm excited to have her on, just on that journey. And then also with where a lot of the community is a safe space mostly at times for the LGBTQ community. So I want to have also that part. Let's talk about some struggles that we bring into work as a dancer, because we're dealing with these intense social issues out in the world with our sexuality.
And people want to try and separate that and be like, oh, but it's art. Art is all inclusive. Art's where you can express yourself. Not necessarily. I mean, we see it in every form of entertainment. We've even seen it on, in the drag scene community. And I think people want to be like, but that's the most accepting. And it is for some people. And that's like a whole other conversation. But yeah, and I think, again, you have such a wide variety of guests coming on the show, and you're obviously very well connected in Hollywood. When I last saw you and you told me one of my favorite people like knew you by name, I almost fell out of my chair. The fangirl's always going to be there a little bit, John. I'm sorry. I can't.
Who was it? Who was it?
Paula Abdul.
Oh, yes. And I want to have Paula on. Yes. Sweet. Everyone. So Paula, if you're listening, it doesn't mean she's going to be on. It doesn't mean she's going to say yes, but I would love to have her on just because she is, as Frank Gatson said, the greatest choreographer of our time.
An example of someone who is someone who dances, sings, choreographs, models,
yes,
judges. Yes. Okay, you shouldn't have told me that because now I'm gonna just be like Paula Abdul. Anyhow, no, I'm kidding. I can focus.
I don't know if she's gonna be on, but I'm just putting it out there. And Tate McRae. You're like, what, John? You're just because she competed. She competed as a dancer, Tate McRae,
and that's how I know her.
She's a dancer to me. I know she's this. That's what I'm saying. So it's this world where we all, and there's nothing wrong with only dancing either. I want to be clear about that. But I'm saying a lot of us have Jenna Elfman. Who's the girl from Scream, the original one? You don't remember.
It sounds
so anyways, but yes, that's hopefully they will be on.
I'm manifesting it. And that kind of goes back to my question. I was going to say, you literally know like everyone in the dance world and could probably get a hold of the people you'd like to interview. But is there someone who's your dream guest that like, this will take a village, but I want them on?
I mean, instinctually, she's not a dancer, but Angelina Jolie.
Of course.
I mean, I think because she's bold. That's what it is this podcast is all about people who are bold too. And she's bold. She's extremely bold. She uses her privilege. That's another thing, just starting with the past month of it being public. I wasn't used to how mean people can be. I forgot about that. I got a lot of nice things, but then I wasn't used to people being mean and saying hurtful things. And that's been healing for me. Like I've taken it as an opportunity to focus on my why I'm doing this and it not be about me. If I do it this season, I'm very happy. And if something else comes up next season, I'm happy either way. I just want to be of service to all these great people. And I really love the people that I have on. Even if I don't know them, I really love what they do.
I agree. And I think, again, you do know so many people in this industry, not only from Dance Moms, but from dancing yourself since you were a young kid. And I think, again, it's just a testament to you that you're being what's the word? Intentional with everyone you have on. And that's a big, again, testament to you. I keep using that word, but that's just, I guess, what's coming to mind, that you're able to kind of be like, okay, well, I want to get this person's story out more. Or I want to get this person's story out more. And as Lennon said, when you know the why, the how becomes easier. Did I get it?
Yeah.
Maybe not verbatim.
I think it's when you have your why.
When you have your
same
why.
Thing.
Yes.
I would love to have, I was on Star Search with Britney Spears, believe it or not. I would love to have her on. We took school together. She probably doesn't remember, but I know a lot of people who dance for her. Well, look at you. You're like, John, this is a new one you're throwing at me.
Do you have a picture with her?
No, because she was in the singing category and I was in the dancing. But and she's a little bit younger than me, so she was in the junior category.
Got it.
I would love to have her on to talk about her love of dance. I won't talk. Yes. I don't need to talk about anything else. She was just from a dance studio in Louisiana and competed and just talk about dance. We don't have to talk about all the other stuff when everyone wants to be up all in her business.
Of course, which, I mean, as we know, that's what fills people's egos, the people who are writing those stories, writing the tabloids. But I love that you really want to make it about dance.
And what's funny is, look, you talked about ego. It's like, even with this, I'm just trying to focus on it because the dance dad in me came out when I saw that we were in the top 20. And then I was like, oh my God, we like that competitiveness in me. And so how do I do it there? And then I was like, calm down, just focus on what you love. And it's not about that. And that goes. And so I'm saying this because we all have a little bit of dance mom, dance dad in us, ego at times. So it's not like it's not like I'm walking on, expecting people to walk on water here. It's not that at all. It's just, so it was kind of funny because my ego came up big time when they told me how well it was doing. So,
and I think it's can be hard in our business because I mean, you have experience just in media, that word you hate, pitching, marketing, all that. It's like we are trained to care about that, and we're trained to look at it and analyze it. And it's really hard when you have that type of business mindset to turn it off. You know,
it is. And so what I remember is that what got me there was just being present, focus on, you know, having these great conversations with people that I love. And then it reminds me of, you know, the kingdom of heaven, where don't worry about tomorrow, focus on the kingdom of heaven and everything else will be added unto you.
Yes.
Meaning, and if it's not, it's okay. You're already in heaven.
And heaven,
so to speak, meaning feeling good, feeling good.
Yeah, feeling good, feeling present, feeling grounded, feeling blessed, feeling hopeful. I love me some Jesus too, as you know. I've never said it that way, but I do love me some Jesus. Oh my goodness. Great. Well, John, it was so great to talk to you and just dive a bit deeper into your why for this podcast. I'm very excited for the upcoming episodes. And yeah, is there anything else you'd like to add?
What I hope comes of it is, one, people get in hip hop classes. And then two, you know, on a deeper level, to kind of, this came up years ago when I was, it was during the pandemic, and it was right after George Floyd, and I was facilitating a conversation with the West Hollywood mayor and a Black lesbian and a Black queer man. And, you know, it was about racism in West Hollywood. So when I was preparing, you know, just like anything, you know, be in the moment, listen to your spirit. And my spirit said, expose, atone, restructure, and heal. And so I really hope that's what all of this is for the dance community, is to expose things that have hurt us and atone ourselves and forgive ourselves and them, or vice versa.
The other F word.
Yes. And restructure that system of dance. Let's do it better. And then we heal, you know, and so I hope that these conversations do that in little bits of pieces, and I feel they have. And I really, really appreciate everyone that listens. It's your podcast. It's all of our podcasts. It's safe to listen, safe to be messy on it. For me to be messy, for the guests, and I just really appreciate it. And I hope it means something to you.
It means a lot to me, as you know, and I have faith that it means a lot to everyone else who listens. And again, I'm so excited to see the upcoming episodes. And by the way, everyone, I'm saying see, because you can get the visuals on Patreon, which I love that. I feel like it's the icing on the cake. So
yes, and I'm working on a couple of there's some surprises with the Patreon, but yeah, I mean, yeah, and that'll go to help support this and keep doing some meaningful things. And then I'm happy now. Look I got you on it in this special episode.
No,
I know, me too. I'm gonna throw in her socials underneath it all, because I want you to see how talented, and I know you're going to always do. You always do great things. And I'm glad we get to do this together, but I can't wait till we can really do something else where I see you all the time.
Yes. Hey, if I do a hip hop recital of 30 seconds, you can be the one person in the studio. I will let you.
Okay. I will. Okay. I am there. I'm totally there.
Oh my gosh. Well, and it will be in LA. So
you might not get first overall, Ava, but you can dance.
Will I even place? At Next Star, Hollywood? We'll see. Time will tell. Awesome. Well, John, thank you again. It was so great. I would say reconnecting, but I guess reconnecting, in this capacity. And I wish you the best of luck with all future endeavors and all future episodes.
Thank you so much, Ava, for doing this, flipping it with me.
Oh, I want
and I appreciate it. And I'm excited for this episode. So thank you all for listening.
Yes, I am too. Go Dance Dads.
Thank you so much for listening to Dance Dad with John Corella. Thank you to everyone at Hivecast for all that you do. And if this episode meant something to you, please share it and subscribe. Also, you can follow Dance Dad with John Corella on all platforms. But most importantly, remember to be bold and be fierce.